Everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get
Kill those motherfuckers.
Does one of us have to come out alive?
And you will pay the price.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
We need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police
Let
Department.
the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods.
They want you dead. They call you a Nazi, a fascist. Not because they know what those words mean, believe you are one, but to dehumanize you, to make you subhuman so that they may celebrate your death and the death of your ideology. They want your opinions silenced by any means necessary. If you are not 100% with them, you are in their way, and they will celebrate when you are gone. On September 10th, conservative speaker and activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and we saw the true colors of the far left. They laughed, celebrated, and they joyfully told you that you should be next. For years, these people have been told they were the victims. Their lives are being threatened, and that we are bad people pushing for their systematic extermination. Their politicians remind them that we are the enemy and that they are the good guys. They're fighting the good fight. They believe they're on the right side of history, and they will be remembered as heroes for fighting against the empire, fighting the fascists, fighting the Nazis, just like their grandparents did in World War II. Except that these terms have devolved from what they were once known to be. Now, a Nazi is simply someone who disagrees with them and their ideology. People like me, people like you, your family, your friends. They want all of us gone because we are horrible people. In the weeks following the Charlie Kirk assassination, I found myself sickened and repulsed by how many people on social media celebrated. People on my social media celebrated. Now, at this point, I only knew of Charlie Kirk. I didn't really watch or follow his stuff. Watching people debate isn't really my kind of thing. It usually just evolves down into two people trying to talk over each other, and I didn't really care for it. But I did dig a bit deeper, and I saw the misrepresentation of his ideals. Misrepresentation that was the direct cause in people justifying his assassination. I unfriended many people on Facebook, unfollowed quite a few on Instagram, but those people didn't really matter to me. An Instagram follower, a Facebook friend I never talked to, people from high school I didn't care about. But unfortunately, it wasn't just people on the internet. I lost actual friends, some of whom I've known over 10 years. One who I've known almost 15 years now. I can disagree with someone politically and still continue to be their friend. That's no issue to me. But this was different. One of the first things he said after bringing up the topic, actually the first thing he said after bringing up the topic of the Charlie Kirk assassination, was no way that guy is going to heaven. And I was kind of taken aback at first as he continued with how quote-unquote hateful and racist he was. At this point, I tried to explain that a lot of the clips floating around are just taken out of context. And also, a lot of his opinions are just older boomer Christian takes. Things you'd find any regular middle America type of guy say. To which he said, and they are all horrible people too. And that stuck with me. This is where I saw friendship fade, where I felt expendable, where I found out that someone who I've been close to for almost 15 years would call me a horrible person if I died, over my politics, over what I believed, because it wasn't the same as theirs. That was in a Discord call over a month ago. Since then, I've reserved to gaming alone, as this happened within a small group of friends who I gamed with very, very frequently. Why would I want to be around someone who thinks I'm a horrible person? And further on that, why would they want someone who they think is a horrible person to be around them? And it sucks. as letting politics divide years worth of friendship is something I thought I'd never do. But at this point, it feels like more than that. More than just politics, more than just left versus right. People are dying, and people are trying to kill us simply for disagreeing, for not being an extremist like them. And part of my perspective here is that I'm not right-wing. I'm not super conservative. There are some things on the left I agree with, and there are some things on the right I agree with. There are things on both sides I heavily disagree with. I'm without a doubt, and always have been, a centrist. But we're living in an extremist environment, and if you're not all the way on one side, you're part of the other side. This mentality of, if you're not with us 100%, you're against us, is crippling the current political state of the country. The vast majority of people are being overshadowed by the louder minorities. The fact is, a vast majority of people are centrists, whether they want to admit it or not. And a lot of centrists really woke up, and many slightly shifted to the right when they saw what makes the left cheer. And I really dislike this narrative of, oh, the left this, the left that, the liberals, the Dems, the shit-libs, all that bullshit. But honestly, at this point, extremism is so normalized in the Democratic Party that I don't really know how else to describe it. As they do the same to us anyway, as anyone not to the left. Even left-leaning centrists are labeled as far-right or Nazi extremists. Now, to us regular people, those labels don't mean a thing to us anymore. Oh, you're a bigot, you're a transphobe, you're a racist. It's nothing more than just, a word. A word that is thrown around so casually, so frivolously, just thrown around for any little thing they view as a transgression. But to them, these are labels, and these labels are green lights that mark us as the enemy, a viable target, a target that is a threat to their very existence, and a threat they must defend themselves against, even if it means acting before being acted upon. A sort of get us before we get them type of mentality. A viewpoint that has led us to where we are now. We are targets, all of us. And they're just waiting for the order, waiting for the green light to start engaging. And as we've seen, some have already started their attacks. Prematurely, of course, as they are still subject to the consequences in the current rule of law. And for now, this keeps others from following suit, although just barely. But there's a chance this could escalate. This could transition to wide-scale, widespread, targeted attacks. The term civil war is being thrown around quite often now, and with the current political climate, it's not entirely out of the question. We have state governments making policies that directly clash with federal policies, local police forces told to abstain from helping federal police forces. It's all just adding more and more fuel to the proverbial powder keg that is current America. Hell, we can even say that the fuse might already be lit, and it's only a matter of time. All in all, I'm pretty late on the Charlie Kirk situation, although he still lives rent-free in the minds of the left who still try to use him as a political gotcha or a right-wing trigger on social media. That aside, it's more about what has followed, my personal experiences, and where I believe we are heading. Expect more of these types of videos, me kind of just rambling, putting my thoughts out there, because these thoughts have to go somewhere. And keeping them to myself hasn't really been the easiest thing to do. So here I am. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll try to reply to them as I get used to managing this sort of YouTube thing. And if you made it this far, thank you for listening.
I'm talking about that Russian, whatever the fuck his name is, straight pussy. And that pussy with the shotgun, and that pussy with the shotgun capping in the corner, fuck you. Shut up, virgin. Go get a fucking job, you virgin.